Okay, so I read a book over this last Christmas and Christmas break called The Undoing Project by Michael Lewis. Michael Lewis is a great author who has written the book The Blind Side and The Big Short and Moneyball, and he really likes to look at people who think very differently, very outside of the box, and then have major influence kind of shaping the way people do stuff in the future because of these pioneers who have thought differently and done differently. So this book is the story of two Israeli psychologists in the 50s and 60s and 70s who did some really profound thinking and reshaping of psychology that actually went on to influence economics. They won a Nobel Prize in economics, I believe, in the 90s for their work. So that's kind of an interesting thing to think about. Wow, psychologists winning an award in economics. But what they really did, to put it in a nutshell, it's a very deep book with lots of deep concepts that I still don't totally get and understand. But one of the things that they showed is that people do not act rationally in large groups. Economic models say that, all things being equal, people will come to the most rational conclusion about how they're going to spend their money, what they're going to do with it. And these guys proved that no, that's not always the case. In fact, they showed that people make mental errors in their decision making and their judgments quite often, and many times they fall into the same mental errors. So I'll just read you a quick little excerpt here. They wrote, in assessing the profit of a given company, for example, people tend to assume normal operating conditions and make their estimates contingent upon that assumption. They wrote in their notes, they do not incorporate into their estimates the possibility that these conditions may be drastically changed because of war or sabotage, depressions, or a major competitor being forced out of business. So here clearly was another source of error, not just that people don't know what they don't know, but that people don't bother to factor their ignorance into their judgments. So how this can affect us is how at Valley Creek we determine maybe who is a good serve team member and who is not. We have these experiences with people in the past that shape our judgments for the future, but we are only actually looking at a small sample of people. And so to, just use our experience with a handful of people and then make larger predictive experiences about larger groups is not always the correct way to go about it. We could actually really be missing out on some great people because they don't necessarily fit our model of what we would expect. So that was just one way to, apply the findings of this book. So I enjoyed it. If you're in for a heady read, this is a good one. All right.